Are there any written objections?
Receive no written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections.
I will close the hearing. I call on Doty and Michael Maloney.
Yeah, I'll lead the water side, pretty straightforward. This is a public hearing for the bonding on both the water refinancing and some of the improvements that were indicated. This is just the holding of the hearing that we set at the last meeting. Pretty straightforward on this process. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. I've been working with Doty and staff getting this documentation together. We'll have a rating call along with the mayor later this week and wrap up in time for approval of the remaining docs at your March 1st meeting. So everything on pace. This is just another administrative step.
All righty, thanks, Michael. I call for motion on the resolution taking additional action to enter into a water revenue improvement and refunding loan agreement.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Item 1B, public hearings on proposal to enter into general obligation loan agreement. I will open the hearing on the essential purpose loan agreement. Are there any written objections on the essential purpose loan agreement?
No written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections.
I will close the hearing. I'll call on Michael again.
Yep, and I'll just kind of summarize for each of these items, again, consistent with our discussion from a couple of weeks ago. We have the separate items here on the general obligation side due to the various purposes. While the water was done in one hearing, these 4 hearings are all going in the same direction following state law. As you can see, the bond attorneys from Dorsey Whitney have organized it in a resolution combining all these items for future action, but you do have the separate hearings tonight. Happy to answer any questions you have, but this is consistent with discussion to date. And again, working forward with Doty and staff to bring these forward over the next month.
All right, thanks, Michael. I will open the hearing on general purpose loan agreement number 1, number 2, and number 3. Have there been any petitions filed for an election on general purpose loan agreement number 1, number 2, and number 3? Which are as follows. General purpose loan agreement number 1, public works facility project, parking lot improvements, $700,000. General purpose loan agreement number 2, trail projects, trail improvements and extensions, $700,000. General purpose loan agreement number 3, parking lot projects, municipal parking lots, $500,000.
No petitions have been received on the general purpose loan agreement 1, 2, or 3.
Are there any written objections?
No written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections.
I will close the hearing. Michael, same thing?
Yeah, this is all consistent action here. It also will include your pre-levy resolution. That means we don't need to rush on the process. We simply have the authority to complete your budget process reflecting these items as well. So if you read that resolution, it's an all-encompassing document from the folks at Dorsey. I think Doty might have spoke up there and I intercepted that. Sorry about that, Doty. Go ahead if you had something.
Doty, you have anything to add?
No, I'm good.
I thought you might be. All right.
Only item I'd say, and no action on this tonight, but we'll be able to move forward with the pricing of the bonds after your action on March 1st. Would consider a potential special meeting. I'll get that out, and Carol, perhaps we can get that to find a short time for the council sometime in March. So I'll solicit that offline, and we can discuss further at the March 1 meeting. But otherwise, everything's in good shape.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Doty.
Yeah.
I call for a motion on the resolution authorizing and combining loan agreements, approving the future issuance of general obligation annual appropriation corporate purpose and refunding bond, Series 2021A, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry,
Nope.
sorry.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. A lot to read after asking the motion. I forgot what I asked for. Item 1C, public hearing on proposed offer to buy city-owned property located on Elm Street in Webster City, Iowa. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
I received no written objection.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objection.
I will close the hearing. Carla, are you available? Are you unmuted?
Sorry. This was the lot that we talked about at the last meeting when we set the public hearing, formerly addressed as 1014 Elm Street, where there was a dilapidated vacant home. And this builder, Soyland Homes, has chosen that lot to build a new home. I described the homes that they do build, and they already work with USDA approved people. They have chosen this lot, other than it's in a nice neighborhood. They also are privileged to apply for our tax abatement program. It's an infill lot and meets all the criteria of the tax abatement also. I have the builder here at the meeting too, if you would like to ask any questions, or Mike, do you want to make any comments?
I certainly be
And they
happy.
already have a buyer for the house, if I remember right, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
And you wanted to start, you said, by March 15th?
Yes, it'll be on or around March 15th. More likely it'll be April 15th.
Yeah.
The buyer's getting some closing things in order for the rest. We'll be starting somewhere between March and April.
Okay. Okay, so tonight we're asking that you approve the purchase agreement and authorize the execution of the warranty deed.
All right. Thank you, Carla.
Yep.
I call for a motion on the resolution approving purchase agreement and authorizing execution of a warranty deed conveying city-owned property located on Elm Street to Soyland Homes, Ames, Iowa.
We'll get this.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, item 1D, public hearing on proposed offer to buy city-owned property located on Wall Street in Webster City, Iowa. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
Received no written objection.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral.
All right, I will close the hearing. Call on Carla again.
Okay, this is a lot in Wall Creek First Edition. Back in 2003, the city platted this parcel into 4 lots, and this is the last lot that we have to sell. We received an offer from Zach and Kendra Chizik, and they would like to purchase the lot in its entirety and join it to their property to the west and to the north. So they are offering $15,000 for it. We based it on recent land sales. And so I'm asking that you approve this purchase agreement and authorize a warranty deed to Zach and Kendra.
All righty. I call for a motion on the resolution approving purchase agreement and authorizing execution of a warranty deed conveying city-owned property located on Wall Street to Zachary S. and Kendra K. Chizik, Webster City, Iowa. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Scratch that. Item 2 on the agenda is presentation from Webster City Fiber Consortium by Doug Boone from Premier Communications of Sioux City, Iowa. I call him, what?
Something.
Well, I call him Doug Boone. Mr. Boone is from Sioux City, not Spencer, as listed on the agenda.
No.
And in reality,
Doug, are you out there?
I'm right here. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes,
All right.
Ken.
Well, just to be clear, I'm from Sioux Center, Iowa, not Sioux City.
Oh.
So we'll get it right
Noted.
eventually. But anyway, Mayor Hawkins and members of the council, thank you so much for taking time to allow us to share a little bit about who we are at the Webster City Broadband Consortium. Again, I want to commend the city for acknowledging that in this time of COVID-19, it's never been more apparent our needs to have a robust communications network and broadband networks. And we believe we're the type of organization that can bring that to the city of Webster City. So we're excited to share a few things about us today and about what our plans are. So I've asked Brian Inga, he's one of our engineering consultants with Vantage Point. He's going to put up a short PowerPoint presentation that we're going to share. And again, anticipating everyone can see that. So go on to the next screen, if you would, please, Brian. So the Webster City Broadband Consortium is made up of 4 companies. Again, my company, Premier Communications, that's located with headquarters in Sioux Center, Iowa, in the northwest corner of the state. We also have Daryl Carlson, the CEO of Webster Calhoun Telephone and Cooperative, and they're kind of all around the Fort Dodge and Webster City area. Jamie Dobendek is the general manager of Jefferson Telephone Company with headquarters in Jefferson. And Jeff Royland is the CEO of Western Iowa Networks with headquarters in Breda. And as you can see from the little graphic we put up on the screen, we are all part of the National Broadband Association called NTCA. And we have all filed for and been accredited as a gig capable providers. So it's a nice honor, it's a nice award. It kind of tells you a little bit about the kind of companies that we are. So next screen, please, or next slide. So if I were you folks, I'd be saying, so who's the Webster City Broadband Consortium and what are they bringing to the city of Webster City? Obviously, the thing that we want to speak to is about our history. Companies like all of ours were formed many, many years ago as traditional telephone companies, but obviously did not stay there. We chose to become broadband companies, technology companies, but collectively we have over 300 years of combined history in the telecom business. Collectively, we have over 32,000 customers serving in over 50 communities. And the services that we propose, the robust services that we propose to provide to Webster City, we provide currently throughout our 50 communities. We have financial stability, strong cash flow with very low leverage. And we've really had a strong track record of success. And over the last 10 years, we have invested collectively over $120 million in broadband investment, in electronics, in fiber placement in the ground. What you're also receiving with the Webster City Broadband Consortium is leadership. Our members have been active in our industry, if it's in the state or at the federal level, but we've been served as a director and past president of the NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, which is our national association. We have past presidents and current vice presidents of the Iowa Communications Alliance, which is our state network. We've all been active in our county and community economic development boards, state industry committees and associations, local community committees and boards, and really trying to make sure that what we bring to the table is a vision of prosperity and of growth and of engagement. One of the things that's also very important to us and something that we'd want to sure bring to the city of Webster City is a local presence. So first of all, Iowa is home to all of our members. Our plans would be, and we would expect that we would establish a local storefront with local team members. And those local staff would be supported by the subject matter experts within each of our companies. And then we would intend to have after hours and weekend trouble call services. And just as an example, in the month of August, the median response time was within the same hour, and the average response time was in the same day when it comes to troubles and service issues. So we're very responsive along the way, and having a local presence really helps facilitate that. And then one of the other things that we believe is really important is just involvement. Our companies collectively have contributed over $2.4 million in local charitable giving over the last 5 years. And again, that may be everything from community projects to splash pads to scholarships. We've had situations where RAGBRAI is coming to town and suddenly we need to build up a Wi-Fi presence so that way 10,000 people coming through town can enter into this community and see it as a positive experience. We've been involved in some revolving loan funds to help business and the nonprofits improve. So just really involved and engaged in our local communities as best we can, because we want to be partners. We want to see the communities grow and prosper together. And next, I would like to introduce Larry Thompson. Larry Thompson is the CEO of Vantage Point Solutions, and Vantage Point is our engineering consultant on this project. So Larry's going to talk about some of the technical aspects of what we are proposing. Larry?
All right, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Mayor and Council. I'm going to just real quickly go over a little bit about Vantage Point. And can everybody hear me okay? Doug, is it good? Okay. So basically from Vantage Point's perspective, we do a lot of fiber to the home engineering. We have been doing it for more than 15 years. We do about 5,000 to 10,000 miles per year. And we're not the contractor where we don't, dig the holes and, hang the lines and things like that. We do all of the engineering work, kind of like an architect does for a building. We do the engineering work, we oversee the construction, make sure that it's done according to plans and specs. And we've done about $2.5 billion worth of fiber to the home engineering. We've got 10 licensed professional engineers on staff. Brian and myself are 2 of them. And we make sure everything's done according to local and national codes. Brian, next slide. Something to keep in mind as well with it's going to be a reliable network. Every one of the 4 companies that are involved in this are very experienced when it comes to fiber to the home. It's not a new technology for them either, but it's going to be all underground construction. I know you've just recently heard a lot of outages or about a lot of outages around Iowa due to aerial construction. This will be 100% underground. It's more expensive to do it that way, but it's much more reliable, makes more for a happier customer. The fiber, the signals from the fiber are going to be transported over redundant networks. These companies are also members of ARION, formerly INS, Iowa Network Services, and it's fully redundant to get it back to their main point of presence in Des Moines, and they have multiple connections to Chicago, Minneapolis, Omaha, Kansas City, and other places for internet. So you can't get a much more survivable network than we're talking about. And it will be a fully fiber network. We've already completed all of the initial design work. It's going to be fiber to every location, completely buried, and the highest quality broadband that's possible today. So you will be up with the very best of the cities in the country with the type of network that you're going to have. And one thing that we make sure when we do the engineering and construction management is, and I'm sure one thing that's heavy on your mind, when you launch into a project of this magnitude, what's it really going to look like? How much is going to happen in the city, and what kind of impacts to normal city services and residents and things like that. We try to minimize as much of that as possible. We've got requirements for the contractors that, they clean up their work at the end of every day, that, everything's done in a logical, straightforward way where you don't have the whole town all dug up all at one time. Most all of what you're going to see is boring, which is kind of the state of the art for construction nowadays. So it's these little machines that do small bores underneath the ground, and you're not going to see big backhoes and things like that running around digging up all areas of the city. And I think you'll be very happy with the results. We've done hundreds of communities across the country, and many, over 100 just in Iowa alone. And finally, just to kind of give you an idea of what the group is planning for the timeline, like I said, we've already completed a lot of our initial design work. We've actually been in communication already with your city planning office, have been looking at your right-of-way requirements and things like that. We plan on having field staff actually feet on the street next week to be able to start some of the fielding work, gathering the data that we need to be able to do the final design of the network. So you're going to be seeing Vantage Point trucks running around the town starting next week. And hopefully by the end of this year, starting on outside plant construction.
So back to me, as Larry mentioned with our timeline, one of the things that we have discovered with COVID-related things, supply chain issues, delays in getting fiber and components that you need on electronics. The thing about, again, our companies, because we have been so consistent in terms of build out and construction, our contractors have a significant inventory of fiber in place, which gives us some confidence that we would be able to get some construction done yet this year, if nothing else on main lines. So I think, where we're at right now is, we're anxious to get going. We want to offer you an opportunity to ask any questions you might have right now. But again, most importantly, we just appreciate the support and the encouragement to move this forward and to provide a high quality broadband experience to the citizens of Webster City. So with that, if you would unshare, Brian, and then we can go back to the folks at Webster City and just ask if there are any questions or comments for us.
Anyone got any questions for him?
I think the one question, you may have already made the comment, with your proposal, the fiber run would be completely free to the customer. There's no cost if you were to engage in here in Webster City, including to the homes. That would all be paid for through your company, correct?
I mean, I think that would surely be our intent. When we're in the middle of the build out phase, we'll be talking to customers, and as we're thinking about putting services into customers' homes, we might be looking at a pre-authorization process or a pre-sign up process, and those first folks coming out of the chute definitely will have no cost to them for us to bring that fiber to their home. If it was something that down the road a ways, if there were some construction items that weren't addressed and all of a sudden there's some unique situations, but historically in our company, at least, we've been able to put that service to the customer premise on our dime. And then with that, of course, we like to think that we're going to get a customer commitment for a period of time.
Have you traditionally offered these services in other communities in a tiered approach, like someone wants a gigabit service versus maybe 100 megabit service? You have different tiers available to the customer?
We have historically done that, and I would expect that we would do that here. I mean, again, it is a pricing proposal that you just don't turn the fire hydrant on all the way to every home. There's different needs and different costs to do that. But I mean, we would have a very robust symmetrical product offering. And I want to be sure to, again, I apologize when I was introducing companies that I did not, maybe they're on the screens, you couldn't see who was who. So I do just want to call out Jeff Royland from Wynn. If you could just wave, Jeff, there you go, thank you. And Jamie Dobendeck from Jefferson Telephone Company. And then Daryl Carlson from Webster Calhoun. All right, so they can sure answer any questions that might come about also. So I'll go on mute here for the next one.
Does your service offering provide more robust service for business or commercial customers compared to residential?
I'm kind of glad I didn't offer to answer that because I couldn't quite understand what you were saying. So could you repeat that?
I got my piece of mind. I'll speak up, but some providers offer different services for commercial customers compared to residential. Do you guys have any, I know you mentioned tiers and fees, but is there also tiers or classifications that, maybe services provided for, after hour service or something like that?
Somebody want to answer that or?
Doug, I can just speak to that, but I would think the intention would be is, we'll offer the same similar type speeds, whether it's 100 meg or 500 meg or a gigabit. They're usually priced a little bit differently than residential, but the same symmetrical type services are available. Also, if there's special circuits that are needed, point to points, that you need to connect to another business or another community, through our network and our ownership through Arion, we'll be able to make those connections also. But the same telephone service, video service, and internet service would be available.
And some of the things we'd also be willing to have conversation on would be if, well, let's just say your hospital that you said, we really want to have a physical redundant network into that hospital. We could design that in and find a way to make things like that happen because, that last mile, that last block, that last 100 feet can sometimes be the greatest piece of the network at risk. So areas where we can build redundancy and diversity in, we want to be able to have those kinds of conversations, with community leaders and business leaders at the same time.
Do you have any idea of price point for the average family?
At this point, we haven't developed price points. And honestly, within my own organization, again, that's part of the marketing and sales team, and I don't have an immediate answer on that. But
all right,
competitive, but even more than just financially competitive, they will be high quality and high quality service and high quality services.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you for your time, Doug. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
But we appreciate it too. And as Larry said, we will have engineering staff in touch with those appropriate people at the city of Webster City in the next couple of weeks. And, we are well on our way with our engineering processes and look forward to moving this forward in a way that makes, again, everybody happy and in particular allows them to succeed in the way they need to succeed as individual homes and as individual businesses. So again, with that, thank you again, everybody. And I know our primary contact has been Lindsay thus far, and just feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions or comments after this meeting.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to working with you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Item 3 on the agenda is a report update on COVID-19 forgivable loans by Community Vitality Director. Lindsay, are you available?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks. So just more of a summary report. as we started out, we plan to do quarterly reports. And so we sent out the same survey that we did for the first quarter. Really briefly, I just want to kind of highlight a couple of things. I'm not going to show screen just because I don't necessarily want individual businesses and their status to be called out. But what I'm seeing as a trend, I don't know of any businesses that have actually closed due to COVID that received a loan. So that's good news. But unfortunately, I am seeing more of them reporting declining revenues still from the start of this period, and then comparing the second quarter to the same 3 months last year, there are more of them that are reporting lower revenues, as opposed to this first quarter. There were some that were actually surprisingly about the same. There was even a couple that had a bump, and I think some of that is there was a lot more enthusiasm from local residents to shop local and support the restaurants and things, and maybe some of that has started to decline. So I just want to encourage people to continue supporting our local businesses as much as you can. It's possible that some of it was the result of the early stimulus payments that went out that boosted some of our local sales. So again, it's good news that we've not lost any, but I'm seeing a higher percentage that are showing a decline in revenue and in a lower status even compared to the first quarter reporting.
So one of the things Lindsay was talked about when we went through this program the first time is the possibility of revisiting it when we got to that point, if we got to that point where we felt there may still be a need. Can you refresh on what this program first round cost in total?
We loaned out approximately $150,000. We had approved for $250,000 and ended up only needing to loan $150,000. And let's see, that was for a total of 47 businesses.
Okay.
I've not had any urgent requests for additional support. I think, we were kind of waiting to see if there would be some more extended closures. Thankfully, we're seeing numbers declined with application of safety measures like wearing masks and things. So that's good. And, in winter, I think in fall tends to be a bit slower season anyway, but just something to be aware of, that the numbers are not moving in a favorable direction. But again, in the reports, several people saying, that this loan program has made the difference for them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
All right, item 4 on the agenda is a motion on Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of February 8th, 2021. I call for a motion.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 5 on the agenda is a resolution accepting and approving a minor subdivision plat of Jaycox Construction Edition, Webster City, Iowa. Carla, are you available?
This is just another minor subdivision plat from an owner who is splitting his parcel in half. He is retaining half of the parcel and selling off the other half. Everything's been reviewed and revised by the engineer, and our engineer has signed off on it. Everything's ready to go for your approval.
All right, thank you, Carla. I call for a motion. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Item 6 on the agenda is a resolution setting time and place for a public hearing on proposed rezoning of property A1 district to M1 district said property being located between Briggs Woods Road and Millard's Lane, Webster City, Iowa, for March 1st at 6:05 p.m. Carla?
Planning and Zoning Commission approved this, and the next step is for the council to hold a public hearing on it. And then if you do pass the zoning change, then it will take the 3 readings. This is for the county, and they did submit a petition to rezone. They are tearing down an old building and constructing a new one on their property between Millard's Lane and Highway 17. And so in order to do so, these are the steps we have to go through.
All right. Thanks, Carla.
Yep.
Call for a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 7 on the agenda is a resolution setting time and place for a public hearing for the purpose of considering the maximum tax dollars from certain levies for the city of Webster City proposed fiscal year 2021 to 22 budget for March 1st, 2021 at 6:05 p.m. Jody, are you available?
Yes, I'm here. This is the new regulation that was passed by the state Senate last year, that we need to publish our increase of overall dollars in certain levies. This year, that we're asking for 3.13% of additional dollars in the certain levies from last year.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Call for a motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 8 on the agenda is a resolution approving police department work agreement for 2021 to 2024 and approving the execution of same by the city manager. Beth, are you available?
Yes, I'm here. I'll summarize, 3-year agreement, 2.75 in year 1 and 2, and 2.25 in year 3. A few other items, additional personal hours. Currently, our officers have 8 hours of personal leave per year. They do work a 12-hour shift, so we are increasing that to a 12-hour personal day. So that's an increase of 4 hours per officer per year. Additional sick leave payout, that would only come into play if dispatch were to leave the city. Then all dispatchers would be have the opportunity for the sick leave payout, which now only pertains to those that have been here for 10 years or more. There's a new section that will allow for an additional, if an officer is in charge of the field training, they currently receive 1 hour of extra pay per shift that they are training. This will increase to 2 hours, so it's a 1 hour increase. And then a new section that will pay for range memberships for anyone in the department that would choose to want one at Boone Valley shooting range. So those are the items that were agreed to.
All right, thank you, Beth. Call for a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? All right, I'm on 9, correct?
Yep.
Item 9 on the agenda is a motion on request from Administrative Services Director and City Hall Maintenance to seek bids for City Hall window replacement. Beth?
Yep, this is just a request to go out for bids and then move forward if the bids come in under budget. This is to replace all of the long, narrow windows in City Hall. They are the originals, and we are starting to have problems with some of them.
So this is the one facing Ann and Kathy, is one of them? Is that what you're talking about?
No, these are the
No.
exterior, the small, narrow
Oh, the
ones.
outside.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I follow, all right.
There's 28 exterior, isn't it?
No, Paul, anyone?
Oh, yeah. All right, call for a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
Nobody ever got there.
No, no, open, do they?
Mine, I can open mine, but
It's like a
the
partial.
new ones won't be open, but you won't be able to open the new ones. I think that's where a lot of the leaking comes in. I know mine do leak a little bit.
That's the whole thing, right? It's like the bottom, like quarter.
Yeah, it's about the bottom foot that you can pop out in my office. I don't know about the others.
All right, item 10 on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the city of Webster City, Iowa to enter into a wastewater services agreement with Natural Shrimp Incorporated, Lacoste, Texas, located at 401 Des Moines Street, Webster City, Iowa. Ken, are you available?
Yes. This is a 4-month agreement for accepting their wastewater. It's also includes billing method and how to shut them off if they refuse to pay.
All right. Call for a motion? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 11 on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the city of Webster City, Iowa to enter in a professional geotechnical exploration services agreement with the lender Butsky Engineers Incorporated, Urbandale, Iowa, in the amount of $22,900. I hope I didn't slaughter that name too much. Ken, are you available?
Yep. What we're doing is doing soil borings to make sure we have enough clearance between bedrock and the surface to run our force main and to see what kind of footings would be necessary and required when we build the plant. So there's 19 bore sites. I think you have the map included with you, so you can see those locations.
All right, anybody have any questions? I call for a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So same sign. Item 12 on the agenda is a resolution accepting and executing of the easement from Louise Sue Gray, Wolf, and Brian Gray for the 2021 Second and Beach Street electrical project. Ken?
What this is, the overhead power lines that go from Beach Street across Second Street are in the way when we make the widened intersection. So we're planning to put those underground, and we needed a location to put some switch gear on the north side of Second Street, just south of the north alley. And this individual or individuals were nice enough to grant us that easement to locate it there. So that's the reason for the easement.
All right, call for a motion.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Item 13 on the agenda is to discuss Fuller Hall / COVID-19. Larry, Beth, or Caitlin, who wants to speak on this?
Well, I can go if you want me to. I can just kind of give you a brief summary where we're at and what our plans are. So right now, Fuller Halls, the restrictions we've been going, by for the last several months is the weight room, cardio room, swimming pool is open for 15 years and older to use, and probably averaging around 50 to 65 people per day using the facility with that. We are open for public swimming at specific times with lifeguard on duty. And there's adult lap swimming and public swimming. The public swimming is, we allow families to come in with immediate family. You know, so with you can't bring the whole neighborhood, but you bring your family in. And that's, you know, that's been going pretty good. So really the only thing that's not allowed right now at Fuller Hall is kids to come and hang out and gather. So we're kind of going one step further, and we've been, you know, trying to get the, we want to get the gymnasium, you know, that's probably the most popular place is for people to come exercise, you know, play basketball, volleyball, whatever. So we got 2 phases going. This phase that we started today is it's people can call and reserve the gymnasium. So it's blocked off in hour blocks. You can call, and if your family wants to come and use one side of the gymnasium for an hour, you can. You know, if you want to play basketball, you can play volleyball, whatever you want to do on your side. And also it can be reserved for parent coaches or coaches if they want to have a traveling team practice, you know, for volleyball, basketball, or whatever that may be. And also there's certain pickleball groups that could gather as well. And also with that, we have a indoor park program, you know, that has not been, you know, in process, but Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we can open the gym up if, you know, parents or guardians with preschool age kids could bring their kids into Fuller Hall from 9:30 to 11:30 and let them run around. You know, we do have toys, but those would be locked off just because of the you know, just the, you know, contamination. So if they wanted to bring certain toys in with them when they come in, they could. And we are requiring or asking, you know, people to wear masks, of course. And then also we want them to bring their own, you know, ball. They have a volleyball, they can bring their own volleyball. And if they could bring their own basketball, just because there's a lot of transmission of, you know, of the balls. So, so that's what we're trying to incorporate right now. And then the next phase would be, it should be in your packet there, is if once the staff gets all vaccinated, you know, the adult staff, a lot of we are, you know, going into the next phase where we can open up Fuller Hall a little more. The recommendation that we kind of talked about is, you know, if kids want to come in after school, this is just the possibility, you know, like after school, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday could be 7th grade through 12th grade. After school, Tuesday and Thursday would be 2nd grade through 6th grade. It could be a total of 40 people in Fuller Hall, 20 in the gymnasium, 10 in the game room, 10 in the TV lounge area, and, you know, social distancing, masks required. And then when we open up at night, you know, for free, you know, for people to come in, it would just be for any. Usually the busiest time is after school. So that's why we thought we'd break it up between the different levels and ages, just so, you know, everybody gets a fair chance. Otherwise, you know, you know, certain people could control the time just by getting here faster or whatever. So this is just a plan we had in place. You know, I think it could be hard at times to make sure there's not 40 in the gym. We'll have to separate. We may have to get one person extra just to kind of watch the door, and one in the office and one kind of chaperoning the gymnasium and areas, just to kind of control people, you know, and make sure there's not 30 in the TV lounge or whatnot. Well, it's just to be trial and error. We'll just have to do the best we can and go from there. I have talked to this public schools, Mandy Ross. She thought the gymnasium deal for the first step was a good deal for now. They are not offering any free gym. They don't have any extra, you know, I think was for budgeting concerns, opening up extra for their gymnasium. So she thought it was good for the community to give an outlet for, you know, people to come in and use the gymnasium. So they are on board the school. We have been working with the schools, just, you know, so we don't interfere with their public school, you know, of their quarantine and all that stuff that they have to follow. You know, we didn't want to have open up Fuller Hall and have all the kids come in here and then get, sick or whatever, and then they wouldn't be able to go to school. So we've been kind of working, head to head with the schools, trying to support them. And they're supporting us. And, we've always worked great with the schools. So that's what we're kind of recommending for now. I hopefully it's kind of all chopped up, but I hope you guys understand and the certain deals. And actually, we've already had a few people today that have come in and used the gymnasium. So the idea behind the gymnasium is so our supervisors don't have to go down there and be with them. So they would just have to have adult supervision or guardian. So, I mean, an adult can't bring the whole neighborhood in, but he can bring his family in, his children, and it can be a guardian, a parent, or who's ever responsible for individuals. Any questions?
Larry, can you hear me?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so I have two questions, and you kind of alluded to it at the end. One question is, if it's a group that if I want to bring my kids there with 9 of their friends and supervise them, is that allowed? Or does it have to be your immediate family?
It has to be your immediate family unless it's a coaching. If you're taking your kids and you're doing a team and you're coaching them, we have all these different teams for volleyball and basketball, and they're with those group of kids, at that certain time. So you could do that if it's a coaching scenario. And then also,
all right, because that's the kind of stuff I've got asked about is they want to have birthday parties, for instance. So they want to rent that 2-hour time slot for 10 kids there. So that would not be allowed.
Yeah, so currently, there's no group activity like birthday parties or anything like that. I know it's one of those deals like, well, if they can do it, why can't they do it? I don't know. I guess if you guys have any thoughts on that, we've just been kind of holding off on any rentals or anything like that, with large gatherings.
But they're allowed to use the swimming pool though, right? Correct, Larry, if they're there with their parents, you could have a party per se in the swimming pool area, as long as each child is accompanied with a parent, right?
That is exactly right, yes. So if they wanted to come in and use a swimming pool, they could do that with, with adults, with the children.
The other thing you said that struck me a little off, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm assuming the biggest group is the 7th grade and unders, when we're all open.
Yeah, it can be, yeah, it can either be 7th, 8th grade or, 6th grade and under. Typically, yeah, it's hard to divide where, most of them come from the junior high.
Right. That's what struck me as funny. You said 7th through 12th, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, I never went there after middle school, really. So to me, that's a pretty small group, and they're getting the bulk of the week.
Yeah, that is the deal on that is there's more high school kids that come in and play basketball. I mean, they'll come in and play basketball. You're exactly right. The high school kids don't come and hang out at Fuller Hall, but the high school kids come in and play basketball in the gymnasium. So that's why. So it's kind of a different, mostly junior high kids, but mostly the gymnasium can be the high school kids playing basketball as well. But I would say, if they're coming in to just hang out, I would say it would be junior high kids. Does that make sense, Brian?
Yep. All right, does anyone else have?
And then also with that,
Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
yeah, the racquetball, we was going to let open for adults to use the racquetball. If they want to play racquetball, they can. Not large gatherings of volleyball, but they could play racquetball.
Okay. Do you have any idea when you guys are going to get your vaccine?
I think Beth might have an answer for that. Beth, are you there?
I'm here, yes. Well, we're still waiting on an update from Shelby. We're really hoping it would be this month. I don't believe we're going to be able to get the 2 of the vaccines in this month. Some of our at-risk employees that are over 65 have been getting theirs through other sources. We've sent our list to public health and we're trying to push as hard as we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess my 2 cents is it looks good. I know it's a hard thing to accommodate all the different rules and regulations and working with all the different groups in town. So I'm inclined to, you know, agree with whatever you guys propose. I know you put a lot of thought and time into it. I know I've had a lot of community members reach out that they want more access, more access, more access. So it's good to hear you got a plan, hopefully not too far down the road to gain that access.
Oh, I guess I did have another question. As far as like wearing the mask goes, you know, because if a parent brings their toddler in to the gym, they're not going to be wearing a mask. So, like, are you guys setting an age limit, or what are you guys doing for that?
You know, as far as the, you know, like for the preschool age you're talking about, Caitlin?
Yeah, because I know I had a couple parents ask me, like, okay, for the gym, you know, they were just worried about the mask usage as far as like the little kids go.
Yeah, and that, you know, I guess I'm kind of sorry. I guess I don't really have, we didn't really go that far down with, we just said, you know, everybody can have a mask. But, you know, I don't know about, you know, preschool and that. If, you know, if they get down in the gymnasium, if they're with their parent and they're not around people, you know, I don't have an answer to that, I guess. What are people doing with that age?
Well, I know some people, like, when we've done other towns, it's like 4 and older has it, and then I've seen places where 2 and older. But I mean, I know 2 to 4-year-olds aren't going to be great about keeping masks on, especially if they're playing around. So I mean, I guess, I don't know, we went to like a water park where people are having more contact, and there was, you know, 4. So
I know currently, like, like when we use the swimming pool there, our kids wear them in, obviously, until they get to the swimming pool area where they're, and then they obviously not gonna wear them in the pool or when they're walking around the outside, so then they remove them then. But otherwise, they wear them in until they get to the spot where they're going.
You know, Brady and any of his children have a lifetime ban, right?
I think 3 and 4-year-old preschool requires them.
Yeah, ours wear them.
Yeah, I'm just guessing it depends on if you're gonna be you and your child in a corner by yourself, or if you're gonna be running around and have contact with others that are there. But
well, I just know somebody asked me about it because they plan to use the gym. Like, I know there's actually a lot of people who have toddlers who like to use the gym. And I know, you know, at that age, they're 50-50. They're going to cooperate or not.
And so hopefully maybe, you know, the parents can just use their own discretion once they get in the gym in their own little area. You know, like right now, if somebody uses the treadmill, they have to wear their mask. But once they get on the treadmill, they can take their mask off just so they can breathe while they're exercising. Things are spaced out 6 foot apart. So, you know, as long as there's still ample room for people to move. So I think that should be okay. Unless you guys think differently on that.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think people would feel better if they didn't have like a set, you know, thing on young kids. But
Logan or Matt, you got anything to add?
No. You know, I mean, I'm glad to hear you guys are all getting vaccinated, and I'm assuming when I heard that you all are taking advantage of that. Is that correct? Like, the reason I ask is like it's kind of pointless that quote unquote you're all getting vaccinated, but 3 or 4 staff members opt not to. Well, then it's not really protecting them, but I guess it's their choice. But
We aren't requiring it, Logan. It is voluntary, but the majority are.
Yes.
No,
So
I have another
everybody,
question.
yeah, everybody that, you know, is going to do it well, but the only thing is the minors, you know, we have a large group of the minors, they obviously they will not have vaccination. The lifeguards and the additional high school help that we have.
All right. Well, we just need a consensus. Sounds like everybody,
This is kind of real, sorry, while we're on this topic, it's kind of close to it. Has there been any community members taking advantage of Fuller Hall due to the weather? You know, and I believe this is a true statement. You guys do let people come in there if, like, say their heater's out, so now it's not so nice. But, have you seen any of that during these conditions, Larry?
Haven't right now. There's been a few deals where we let like DHS people, you know, like if they're bringing a family in, we let, you know, obviously them come in. Haven't had a large group or, you know, a large amount of people wanting to come in. It's been kind of quiet actually on that part. But if somebody would ever come, we would never refuse anybody. We would work with anybody, so.
Cool. No, that's.
And that's if
well, I
it's.
think just look at everybody, we're all on board with your proposed plan, Larry, and we appreciate you guys getting it together.
Yep, thank you very much. If anybody ever has a question or call or suggestion, just give us a call.
All righty.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, next section is D, reports, recommendations of officers, boards, and commissions. The following items have been deemed to be non-controversial, routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. One is motion to accept and place on file the city manager January reports, electric, water, electric year to date, water year to date, and inspection. Two is motion to accept and place on file the police department January report. Three is motion to accept and place on file the fire department January report. And four is motion to accept and place on file the Hamilton County Solid Waste Commission February agenda packet.
Move to approve 1 through 4 collectively.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Are there any council committee reports? Are there any other reports and recommendations? All right, next section is E, other items. A reminder, on March 4th at 6 p.m. we have a work session for public meeting on dispatch. And then next section is F, closed session, meeting closed session to evaluate the professional competency of individuals whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session as provided by Chapter 21.5I of the Code of Iowa. I call for a motion. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We'll go into closed session. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Call you, John.
Down in the